If she shares this with you, you've already hers. Watch before it's too late. Female psychology. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a place you're allowed to enter. If a woman is sharing these 5 things with you, you're not simply present in her life. You're living in her thoughts. You've become the man she trusts with the parts of her that most people never get to touch. And here's the hard truth. If she doesn't share them, if she keeps you at a distance emotionally, you may not be as important to her as you believe. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn 5 things women only open up about with the man they truly value. These aren't cheesy signs or social media tricks. They're deep psychological doors, and when she opens them for you, it reveals something powerful. Are you the man she chooses, or just the man she keeps around? So, if you've ever wondered, where do I really stand with her? Stay with me until the end, because once you understand the final one, you'll instantly recognize what her silence means and what her openness is trying to tell you. All right, no time wasted. Let's begin. Number 8, she asks for your opinion on decisions that matter to her. Number 8 is subtle, and that's why it's powerful. She asks for your opinion on decisions that actually matter to her. Not small talk choices, not surface level preferences, but crossroads moments where direction counts, where consequences linger, where identity is shaped. And when that happens, you must pay attention. This is not about convenience. It is about connection. When a woman brings you her thoughts about a career move, a family concern, or a personal dilemma she hasn't shared lightly with others, she is doing more than gathering data. She is inviting you into her inner world, and that invitation is never casual, never random, never accidental. So don't brush it off. Don't minimize it. Don't answer lazily, because she is quietly asking a deeper question beneath the obvious one, a question that sounds like, do you see the world the way I do? And do you think in a way that feels steady to me? And can I rest my thoughts next to yours without feeling misunderstood? This is where female psychology becomes beautifully clear if you slow down enough to notice it. Attraction is not only about chemistry or charm, it is about mental safety, about resonance, about whether your perspective feels grounding rather than unsettling. When she seeks your opinion, she is running one of the oldest psychology tricks in human connection, a test of alignment, not a trap, not a game, but a quiet measurement of compatibility that happens almost instinctively. You must respond with presence, not performance, because she is not grading you on having the perfect answer. She is observing how you think, how you weigh options, how you hold nuance, how you speak under pressure, and whether your mind feels like a place she could return to again and again. Be calm, be thoughtful, be honest. That is the key. Men often believe attraction grows through action alone, through doing, fixing, providing. But female psychology tells a more layered story, one where attraction deepens when a woman feels understood without being overtaken, supported without being directed, heard without being corrected. So don't rush to solve. Don't interrupt with certainty. Don't take over the conversation. Instead, listen fully, reflect clearly, and speak with intention. The moment you offer a grounded perspective that respects her autonomy while still offering clarity, something important shifts. Trust expands. Curiosity strengthens. Emotional intimacy quietly tightens its grip. This is how to fall in love without forcing it, without chasing it, without announcing it. Love often begins in the mind long before it reaches the heart. When your thoughts feel familiar in the best way, when your reasoning feels steady rather than chaotic, she begins to associate you with calm, with direction, with reassurance. That association is powerful because the brain remembers what the nervous system appreciates. Understand this clearly. When she asks your opinion on real matters, she is not outsourcing her decisions. She is checking whether your inner compass aligns with hers, whether your values echo hers, whether your way of interpreting life feels compatible with the future she imagines. That is why your response must be measured, not exaggerated, confident but not rigid, open but not uncertain. Balance is attractive. Clarity is attractive. Emotional intelligence is attractive. These are not buzzwords. They are lived experiences felt in conversation. This is one of those psychology tricks that works precisely because it doesn't feel like a trick at all. It feels natural, organic, almost invisible, yet it carries enormous weight in female psychology, especially for a woman thinking long term, a woman considering partnership rather than novelty, a woman who values depth over noise. Don't underestimate this moment, because many men lose ground here by dismissing the question, overanalyzing it, or turning it into a lecture. That is where distance begins, quietly, politely, almost kindly. So be present, be concise, be sincere. Say what you believe, but leave room for her truth. Alignment is not sameness, it is harmony. And harmony requires space as much as structure. Remember this: attraction matures when a woman feels that her thoughts are safe with you, that her uncertainties are respected, that her decisions are not judged. When she senses that your perspective adds clarity rather than confusion, she begins to trust not just your opinion, but your presence. Trust is the soil where love grows strongest. This is how to fall in love the grown way, the quiet way, the lasting way, through shared thinking, shared reflection, shared meaning. That is why this sign matters so much more than compliments or chemistry. Chemistry can fade, charm can fluctuate, but mental alignment deepens with time. Use this knowledge wisely, not to manipulate, not to perform, but to show up fully. The most effective psychology tricks are rooted in authenticity, and the most compelling female psychology response is felt when a man is grounded in who he is, clear in what he values, and respectful in how he communicates. Be that man. Not for approval, not for control, but for connection. When she asks for your opinion on decisions that shape her life, she is already opening the door. Whether that door becomes a hallway or a wall depends entirely on how you step forward, how you listen, how you speak, and how safe your mind feels to her in that moment. Get this right, not perfectly, but honestly, and you'll understand something most men never do. Attraction is not pulled, it is invited. Love does not begin with grand gestures. It begins with shared understanding, repeated quietly until it feels like home. Number 7, she relaxes her need to impress you. Number 7 is quiet, almost easy to miss, yet it carries a weight that most men never fully understand. She relaxes her need to impress you. She shows up without the performance, no constant filtering, no carefully curated version designed to earn approval. She arrives as she is, maybe tired, maybe unpolished, maybe slightly awkward. And the key detail is this: she doesn't rush to fix it. That comfort is not laziness. That comfort is intimacy in its rawest form. Don't confuse effortlessness with indifference. Be sharp enough to recognize what is actually happening. When a woman stops trying to impress you, she is not pulling away. She is leaning in. She is saying, without saying it, I feel safe here. That is not casual. That is significant. That is one of the clearest signals in female psychology that trust has taken root. Early attraction is loud. It sparkles. It performs. But deeper attraction is quiet. It exhales. When she no longer feels the need to be on around you, when she allows silence without panic, imperfection without apology, that is her nervous system settling. That is her body deciding it doesn't need armor. You must understand this if you want to attract women on a deeper level. A high-value man doesn't demand perfection. He creates an atmosphere where authenticity feels welcome. Don't pressure her to entertain you. Don't comment on every flaw. Be grounded. Be steady. That is what allows her to soften. Masculine energy, when it is healthy and mature, does not crowd the room. It stabilizes it. And when that stability is present, she instinctively relaxes into herself. Think about the metaphor hidden here. When someone takes off their shoes in your home, it means they intend to stay for a while. They trust the floor beneath them. They are no longer bracing for the exit. Her unfiltered presence works the same way. When she stops curating every word, every look, every reaction, she is removing her shoes emotionally. That is not boredom. That is belonging. Don't mistake polish for connection. Polish is easy to fake. Comfort is not. Comfort requires trust, and trust forms when she feels accepted without being evaluated. You must be the man who doesn't flinch when the shine fades. Be calm when the mask drops. That response tells her more than compliments ever could. This is where many men lose ground without realizing it. They assume attraction is fueled by constant excitement, constant validation, constant stimulation. So when she relaxes, they panic. They try to reignite performance. They tease, they test, they pull back. Don't do that. Don't disrupt comfort just to feel wanted again. Be secure enough to let ease exist. A high-value man understands that real attraction deepens when effort turns into ease. That is how you attract women who want to stay, not just visit. Masculine energy, in this context, is not about pushing forward. It is about holding steady. It is about being someone she doesn't have to impress to be accepted. Notice how this shift changes the dynamic. Conversations become slower, laughter becomes softer, eye contact lasts longer. There is less proving and more presence. That is not a loss of attraction. That is attraction maturing. Female psychology responds strongly to environments where emotional labor can rest. When she feels she can show up without being judged, without being compared, without being corrected, her attachment grows stronger, not weaker. That is why comfort is often the bridge between attraction and intimacy. Don't underestimate it. Don't rush her out of it. Be patient. Be attentive. That patience signals confidence. Confidence is magnetic. And here is the deeper truth many men miss. She relaxes because she senses your self-respect. A man who is centered does not need her to perform for him to feel validated. He enjoys her presence as it is. That is what separates a high-value man from someone constantly chasing reassurance. If you want to attract women who are emotionally available, you must be emotionally grounded yourself. You must be comfortable with quiet moments. You must be comfortable with her being human. That comfort strengthens masculine energy in a way no bravado ever could. Remember this clearly. When she shows up tired, unfiltered, slightly messy, and unafraid of your reaction, she is offering you something real. That is not the moment to critique. That is not the moment to withdraw. That is the moment to be steady, be present, be respectful, be warm. That response teaches her that closeness with you is safe. And safety in female psychology is one of the strongest drivers of long-term attraction. This is how you attract women who don't just admire you, but trust you. This is how attraction evolves into something lasting, not through pressure, not through performance, but through presence, consistency, and the quiet confidence of a man who knows he doesn't need a show to feel chosen. Number 6, she defends you, or the connection, when you're not around. Number 6 cuts deeper than compliments, gifts, or attention, and most men miss it because it happens when you are not in the room. She defends you. She defends the connection. She protects the story of us when no one is watching. That tells you everything you need to know about her emotional position. When a woman corrects misunderstandings about you, clarifies your intentions instead of letting others twist them, or speaks about your bond with calm respect rather than gossip or doubt, she is already invested at a level words cannot fake. Loyalty shows up in absence, not performance. As Maya Angelou famously said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." And this is exactly that moment, because defending you when there is nothing to gain, socially, means her inner alignment is already with you. This is not about drama or confrontation. It is about quiet consistency, about choosing fairness over approval, about honoring a bond before it has a label. In modern life, where conversations happen in group chats, offices, family circles, and online spaces, this behavior is rare and therefore powerful because it requires emotional clarity and self-respect. A woman who does this is not chasing attention, she is protecting meaning. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that character is revealed by actions taken without applause, and this is a perfect example because she gains no reward for defending you except internal peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." The same principle applies here. She is not announcing loyalty, she is practicing it. Men between 35 and 70 know the difference between noise and substance, and this is substance. This is the kind of signal you cannot demand and should never test, because real loyalty collapses under pressure but grows in freedom. When she chooses to speak well of you without being prompted, she is already carrying the connection inside her, already identifying with it, already seeing it as part of her personal integrity. Stoicism win is about understanding reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. And reality says this: people protect what they value, they defend what they believe in, they clarify what matters to them. If she does that for you, she is emotionally present, whether she has said it or not. In today's world, where commitment is often delayed and definitions are avoided, this behavior is a stronger indicator than any label because it shows alignment of values, not just attraction. Seneca reminded us, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness, and defending someone fairly when they are absent is one of the highest forms of that principle. For you as a man, the instruction is simple and firm. Notice actions, not promises. Observe patterns, not moments. Respect what is freely given, not what is negotiated. Do not chase reassurance when evidence is already present. An iron mind understands that silence paired with consistency is louder than any declaration. If you recognize this sign, your role is not to rush, pressure, or analyze it endlessly. Your role is to meet it with steadiness, clarity, and self-respect. Be the kind of man whose absence does not create confusion because your behavior is already clean. Be the kind of man whose name can be spoken calmly because your actions are aligned. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us that mutual respect grows when both sides live by principle, not impulse. This is not about control or insecurity. It is about mutual grounding. In modern relationships, trust is built quietly, brick by brick, conversation by conversation, choice by choice. When she defends you without you being there, she is laying one of the strongest bricks possible. Stoicism win teaches you to accept signals without clinging, to appreciate without grasping, to move forward without fear. That is exactly how you should receive this sign. Let it inform you, not inflate you. Let it guide you, not blind you. Keep your standards high and your reactions calm. Protect the connection the same way she does, with dignity and restraint. An iron mind knows that real bonds do not need constant validation. They need consistent character. When you live this way, you do not just understand female psychology. You master your own life. You move with certainty. You create relationships rooted in respect, stability, and quiet strength. If this resonates, don't stay silent. Drop a comment right now saying, "Loyalty speaks when I'm not in the room." Like the video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remember this: when she protects your name, she's already protecting the bond. Number 5, she shares her unfiltered fears without shame. Number 5, and this one is quiet but powerful, when she shares her unfiltered fears with you, without embarrassment, without dressing them up, without trying to look strong, you're already standing in a place most men never reach. Most women move through the world wearing emotional filters with men: polished confidence, practiced independence, a steady sense of control, because experience has taught them that not everyone is safe with the truth. But when real affection takes root, that armor loosens, and suddenly she lets you see the parts she usually hides, the doubts that surface late at night, the worries that don't make sense out loud, the old memories from childhood that still echo in her adult life. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens because her nervous system has quietly decided that you are not a threat, that you are a harbor, that being honest with you feels safer than pretending. That decision is deeply biological as much as it is emotional. When trust reaches this depth, the brain releases oxytocin and dopamine, the same chemicals involved in bonding, attachment, and how to fall in love, sending a clear internal message that says, "Stay here, this person feels safe." This is where many men misunderstand female psychology, because they assume vulnerability is a request for solutions or a test they need to pass with the right words. That is not what's happening. So don't rush in with fixes. Don't minimize what she's feeling. Don't joke it away. Don't turn her openness into a lesson or a debate. The moment you judge, correct, or dismiss what she shares, Her brain doesn't argue with you. It simply records danger and quietly begins to retreat. That retreat rarely announces itself. It just shows up later as distance, silence, or a loss of emotional warmth. You must understand this clearly. Her fears are not a burden you need to solve. They are a gift you are being trusted to hold. When you listen without interrupting, when you stay present without offering advice she didn't ask for, when you allow pauses instead of filling them with opinions, you create something rare: emotional safety. Emotional safety is the foundation of lasting attraction, deeper bonding, and the kind of connection that survives stress and time. Psychology tricks that rely on manipulation fade quickly, but respect and presence wire themselves into memory. This is one of the most overlooked truths in female psychology. Feeling understood matters more than being impressed. Being heard matters more than being rescued. And calm attention can feel more intimate than grand gestures. Be still, be grounded, be reliable. Let your response say, "I'm here," and you don't need to perform. When a woman realizes she can bring her full, imperfect, unfiltered self to you without losing your respect, her attachment deepens in ways logic can't rush. This is not about control. It's about consistency, not about power, but about trust. Once that trust locks in, it doesn't just shape how she feels about you, it shapes how her mind associates comfort, safety, and desire. That is why this moment matters so much. Handled well, it makes you emotionally irreplaceable, not because you're flawless, but because you're safe. That safety becomes the emotional home she doesn't want to leave, a home built not from words, but from how you respond when the mask finally comes off. If you understand how to fall in love through presence instead of pressure, if you respect the deeper layers of female psychology instead of fighting them, and if you resist the urge to turn vulnerability into a problem to fix, you step into a role very few men ever master. Don't underestimate this moment. Don't rush past it. Don't misuse it. Be steady. Be kind. Be quiet when needed. That calm strength allows attraction to mature into something lasting, something rooted, something real. And before we go any further, take a second to ground yourself in this energy. Hit subscribe, drop an 8 in the comments, and remind yourself that growth, clarity, and positive momentum start with understanding, not force, and that mastering psychology tricks is far less powerful than mastering patience, awareness, and respect, the true language of connection. Number 4, she tells you about her past, even the messy parts. Number 4, and this one separates casual interest from real emotional investment. She tells you about her past, even the messy parts, not just the highlight reel, not just the funny stories that are easy to share. She talks about former relationships, regrets she wishes she'd handled better, choices she's learned from, moments she's not proud of. And she doesn't do this for approval or sympathy. She does it because she wants you to see the whole picture. That is psychological integration. That is her mind carefully stitching her past to your present, creating continuity instead of compartmentalization. In simple terms, she's no longer living separate emotional lives. She's building one story, and in that story, she's quietly testing whether you can stand inside it without flinching. A woman who is not serious keeps her past vague. She edits, she deflects, she changes the subject. But when she opens that door and lets you walk through memories that still carry weight, it means she's integrating you into her identity. She's saying, without saying it, "This is where I've been. This is how I became who I am." And more importantly, she's asking a silent question. Can you accept this without trying to compete with it? This is where many men stumble, not because they lack interest, but because they don't understand the moment. They hear names, timelines, and old emotions, and their mind jumps to comparison. Don't do that. Don't measure yourself against people who no longer exist in her emotional present. Don't turn her honesty into a scoreboard. That is not strength. That is insecurity dressed up as curiosity. You must understand this clearly. When she shares her past, she is not inviting judgment. She is offering trust. She is saying, "I trust you enough to know where I've been." That trust is fragile in the moment it's given. Handle it poorly, and it doesn't explode. It quietly withdraws. Handle it well, and it deepens into something stable and rare. Never bring her past up later in an argument. Never use it as a reference point when emotions are high. Never imply that you are threatened by it. Calm acceptance creates emotional contrast. And emotional contrast is powerful. It tells her, without words, that you are grounded in yourself. That is what separates a reactive man from a high-value man. This is where masculine energy shows itself in a quiet, unforced way. Not through control, not through interrogation, but through steadiness, through the ability to hear something complex without becoming defensive. Be calm, be present, be curious without probing. That is attractive because it signals emotional security. And emotional security is one of the strongest forces that attract women over time. She begins to notice that you respond differently than others before you. Not louder, not colder, just clearer. That difference matters. It allows her nervous system to relax. It allows her to feel that her past doesn't define her future because you're not trying to rewrite it or compete with it. Here's where it gets deeper. When she says metaphorically that you are becoming the final chapter, she's not erasing what came before. She's integrating it. Psychological integration means she no longer splits her life into before you and with you. Instead, it becomes one continuous narrative. The pain had meaning, the lessons had purpose, and now the story makes sense because you're in it. That's why this moment carries so much weight. You're not just hearing about who she was, you're being shown who she's becoming. And that transformation is happening in real time, shaped by how you respond right now. Don't rush to reassure her. Don't say, that doesn't matter too quickly. It mattered to her. Acknowledge it without amplifying it. That balance is key. Say less but mean more. Let silence do some of the work. When you don't panic at her past, she learns something important about you. She learns that you are not fragile, that you don't need to be the center of every chapter to feel secure. That quiet confidence is masculine energy in its most attractive form. And yes, this is how men who naturally attract women move through emotional moments, not by performing, not by proving, but by being solid. This vulnerability also sets the stage for what comes later, the emotional blueprint she's building in her mind. When she shares where she's been and feels accepted, she starts imagining where she's going. And increasingly, that future includes you. Not because you demanded it, but because you made space for it. This is why you must never punish honesty. The fastest way to lose emotional momentum is to make openness feel risky. The fastest way to deepen connection is to make it feel safe. Be different, be consistent, be the man who doesn't need to win against the past to feel chosen in the present. That is the mindset of a high-value man, and women feel that difference immediately, even if they can't explain it. It shows up in how they relax around you, how they share more, how they invest emotionally without being pushed. That's how you attract women who are ready for something real, not just attention. So remember this moment. When she opens up about her history, she's not looking backward. She's orienting herself forward. Don't drag her back. Walk with her ahead. Let your response say, I see you, I accept you, and I'm not threatened by your story. That calm assurance amplifies your masculine energy in a way no tactic ever could. It positions you as the contrast she's been missing, and when the emotional blueprint completes, she won't just associate you with safety. She'll associate you with growth, clarity, and the future she's ready to step into because of you, not in spite of you. Number 2, she shares her body language without guarding it. Number 2 is where things turn quiet and serious, and if you miss it, you miss everything. Because when she begins to share her body language without guarding it, this goes far beyond attraction and has almost nothing to do with physical intimacy. It is about safety. It is about relief. It is about the moment a woman in love finally exhales around you and lets herself soften. And you need to understand this clearly. A woman does not relax by accident. She relaxes when her nervous system decides you are not a threat. When she stops managing impressions and stops editing herself. When her hair is messy, her face is bare, her posture loosens, her voice changes, and her emotions arrive without warning. When she laughs too loud or cries without apologizing. that is not a lack of control. That is trust in its purest form. That is emotional nakedness, the rarest currency in female psychology. And most men never see it because they unknowingly destroy it the moment it appears. So listen carefully. Do not joke about it. Do not tease her for being real. Do not turn her openness into entertainment. Do not point out her flaws in those moments thinking honesty earns points. It does not. It erases safety. Be calm. Be steady. Be grounded. Because the second she feels observed instead of held, judged instead of accepted, her walls rebuild instantly. And this time they are higher, thicker, quieter. You will feel the distance without understanding why. That is how fast trust disappears. So your move is simple but demanding. You must normalize her authenticity. You must treat her unguarded state as normal, not special, not strange, not something to comment on endlessly. Because when you overreact, you turn her back into a performer. Instead, speak with warmth. Compliment her natural state without making it a comparison. Say she looks at ease. Say she feels good to be around. Or say nothing at all and let your presence do the work. That is strength. That is confidence. And this is where subtle psychology tricks actually matter. Not manipulation, but awareness. Because female psychology responds to emotional safety before desire. And when she realizes she does not need armor around you, when she notices she can exist without polishing herself, without rehearsing reactions, without bracing for impact, something deep locks in, something loyal, something enduring. And this is how to fall in love without forcing anything. Because love is not built by pressure. It is built by permission. Permission to be human. Permission to be inconsistent. Permission to be quiet or expressive without consequences. And here is the part most men misunderstand. When she stops performing for you, you have not lost attraction. You have crossed into significance. You have entered a space where she bonds rather than impresses, where she invests rather than entertains. And that space is fragile. It must be protected. So do not interrogate her feelings when she opens up. Do not rush to fix her emotions. Do not minimize what she shares. Be present. Be steady. Be respectful. Let silence exist. Let her tears fall without commentary. Let her laughter be loud without correction. Because the message you are sending is simple and powerful. You are safe here, and safety is the foundation of desire that lasts. This is not about being passive or agreeable. It is about being emotionally reliable, which is rare, and rarity creates value. So remember this when you feel tempted to joke, to critique, to pull away, or to assert yourself at the wrong moment. Do not do it. Hold the line. Because the woman who trusts you with her unguarded self is giving you access to her inner world. And that access is earned slowly and lost quickly. This is why understanding female psychology matters more than clever lines. This is why real psychology tricks are about restraint, not tactics. About knowing when not to speak, when not to react, when not to make it about you. And if you can do this consistently, if you can remain solid when she is soft, calm when she is open, respectful when she is vulnerable, you become the place she returns to emotionally. And that is how to fall in love without chasing, without convincing, without pressure. Because love grows where judgment is absent and acceptance is stable. And once she feels that with you, once she realizes her most natural self is not only allowed but appreciated, you have won something most men never experience. Not attention, not admiration, but devotion. The kind that does not need constant reassurance. The kind that stays when novelty fades. The kind rooted in deep trust. And that is the quiet power behind understanding female psychology, using psychology tricks ethically, and mastering how to fall in love in a way that lasts. Number 1, she shares her emotional process in real time. Number 1 is where everything changes, and most men don't even realize it's happening. She starts sharing her emotional process in real time. Not later, not after things cool down, right in the moment. Remember when we talked about her opening up about her past? This is the evolution of that trust. She doesn't just tell you what happened anymore. She tells you what she's feeling as it happens. When she's upset, she explains why. When she's overwhelmed, she puts words to it instead of shutting down. When she's distant, she gives context before you even ask. That is not oversharing. That is emotional transparency, the highest form of psychological intimacy. It means her mind has shifted from constant self-protection to full emotional integration with you. She is no longer bracing herself. She is no longer calculating every word. She is no longer managing outcomes. She speaks because she feels safe enough to be understood. And this matters deeply in female psychology, because a woman only processes emotions out loud with someone she trusts to handle them responsibly. This is where many men lose ground without knowing it. They hear her feelings and immediately personalize them. They hear discomfort and assume accusation. They hear distance and assume rejection. Don't do that. Don't turn her honesty into a problem you need to fix or defend against. Don't interrupt her emotional flow with your ego. Be calm, be present, be solid. Because when she says, "I feel disconnected today," she is not saying, "You failed." She is saying, "I trust you enough to let you see where I am." That is a gift. That is access. And access is everything if you want to attract women at a deeper level. A high-value man understands this distinction. He listens without flinching. He doesn't collapse emotionally. He doesn't argue with her feelings. He doesn't rush to solve what doesn't need solving. He holds space. And holding space is not passive. It is active restraint. It is strength under control. It is masculine energy expressed through steadiness, not reaction. Here is exactly what you do. Never punish her honesty, not with silence, not with sarcasm, not with withdrawal, not with lectures. Because the moment honesty leads to emotional cost, her nervous system learns a lesson it will not forget. She will stop sharing in real time. She will go back to processing alone. She will return to emotional distance, not because she wants to, but because her brain decides it's safer. So when she says, "I feel disconnected today," don't take it personally. Don't interrogate her. Don't demand reassurance. Respond simply and clearly. "I'm here when you're ready." That sentence does more than 1,000 explanations. It tells her you are stable. It tells her you are not threatened by her emotions. It tells her you don't need her to be a certain way for you to stay grounded. And when a man holds space without ego, her brain registers ultimate safety. That is not poetry. That is psychology. This is the moment where attraction begins to transform. Attraction is sparked by chemistry, confidence, and polarity. But devotion is built through emotional safety over time. And devotion is what most men want, but don't know how to create. Devotion is when she chooses you even when life is heavy. Devotion is when she stays emotionally connected instead of pulling away. Devotion is when loyalty becomes natural, not negotiated. This is why understanding female psychology matters more than memorizing tactics. Real connection doesn't come from control. It comes from consistency. A high-value man is predictable in the best way. His reactions are steady. His presence is calm. His masculine energy feels like solid ground, not shifting sand. Notice something important here. She is doing emotional labor out loud with you. That means she is letting you see her internal process before it hardens into conclusions. That is rare. Most people only share emotions after they've already decided what they mean. She is letting you in earlier. That is trust in motion. Don't waste it. Don't analyze it to death. Don't weaponize it later. Be someone who can be trusted with unfinished thoughts, because unfinished thoughts are vulnerable. And vulnerability, when met with respect, deepens bonds faster than grand gestures ever could. This is also where many men confuse leadership with control. Leadership here means emotional containment. It means you don't need to dominate the moment. You don't need to redirect her feelings. You don't need to center yourself. You must remain grounded while she processes. That is masculine energy at its most attractive, calm, spacious, unshaken. This is how you attract women who are emotionally mature and capable of deep connection. They are not looking for perfection. They are looking for emotional safety paired with strength. They are looking for a man who can stay present without needing to be the hero or the victim. And here's the quiet truth. When she shares her emotional process in real time, she is inviting you into her inner world while it's still alive and moving. That invitation can be closed just as quickly as it's opened. If she feels dismissed, rushed, or misunderstood, she will stop offering it, not dramatically, not angrily, quietly. So don't rush, don't pressure, don't make promises you can't keep. Be consistent, be respectful, be patient. Let her emotions breathe. Let silence exist when needed. Let her come back to center without interference. That is how trust compounds. This is why men who understand this dynamic stand out without trying. They don't chase emotional intensity. They allow emotional honesty. They don't demand closeness. They create conditions where closeness feels natural. That is the difference between temporary attraction and lasting devotion. And if you want to be seen as a high-value man, this is where it shows. Not in words, not in posturing, but in how you respond when she is real with you. Because when a woman realizes she can bring her full emotional self without consequences, without correction, without emotional backlash, her attachment deepens on its own. So remember this, don't punish honesty. Be steady instead. That is strength. That is confidence. That is masculine energy used wisely. And when you master this, you don't have to chase loyalty. You don't have to demand respect. You naturally attract women who feel safe, seen, and understood with you. And that kind of connection is rare. That kind of connection lasts. Hey, my friend, thanks for staying with me until the very end. If you really listen, one truth becomes clear. Real love isn't loud or dramatic. When a woman shares something deeply personal with you, it's not a game, it's trust. And trust is only given to a man who makes her feel safe. Here's my sincere advice for you. Don't rush emotional depth. Never dismiss her vulnerability, and never trade your inner strength just to be approved. A man's true power doesn't come from control, it comes from emotional stability. When you stay calm, grounded, and unafraid to love, your value naturally rises. That's the kind of man women never forget, no matter how much time passes. If this message resonated with you, don't scroll away. Tap the next video showing up right now, hit that subscribe button, and stay with us because more powerful insights are coming very soon. Until then, take care, stay strong, and may God bless you. Amen.